Well, hello again everybody. It's 2 weeks since the Stirling Marathon, and time I did a bit of objective reflection on how the event went. If you have seen the video, you'll see that I wasn't a happy bunny. I was just devastated at the end of the race. I guess before we started, in the original version of the video there was a section, maybe a couple of minutes, when I was thinking forward on how I was going to approach the race, and I wasn't in a good place mentally. Even at that point, I had said that I just wasn't very confident, and I would just treat it as a training run and see how things went. If I had done that, I think everything would have gone reasonably well, but I didn't. Physically everything was fine, and I tend to find this. I never feel tired at the end of the race because I don't run fast enough. I always run within myself. My nutrition was bang on. I was taking my gels religiously. Hydration was bang on. That was one of the really good things about Stirling, was that there were plenty of water stations and so on. And I had my bottle with me, which still had plenty in my bottle at the end. What went wrong was I got to the 20-mile mark, and I was a bit behind schedule, and I basically gave up and did a jog walk for the last 6 miles. That was it. I just gave up. Why did I give up? Well, I was finding it quite hard going. I got to the 10-mile mark, and the first 3 miles was kind of undulating. Then it was 6 miles uphill between Doon and Dunblane. From then you went downhill, but I found that even on the downhill section I wasn't really very confident, and I wasn't making up any time. So at the 10-mile mark, mentally I was already starting to struggle. So by the time I got to the 20-mile mark, I just totally gave up. I could see that I wasn't going to make my 4¼ hours, and gave up. So why did I give up? At the end of the marathon, there was never any doubt that I wasn't going to complete the marathon. On none of my marathons, even the worst one, which was Belfast, and Stirling was much better than Belfast, at no point did I even consider giving up. So I knew I was going to get to the end. But at the end, I was devastated. I was sobbing, in tears, and sobbing, crying my heart out, and really embarrassed and quite ashamed of myself. But I wasn't ashamed in my time. The time was 4 hours 57, which I was really disappointed with. But what I was ashamed about was the fact that I had given up, that I had let myself down. That was what I was ashamed of. I'd let myself down. Okay, so I also said at the end, no doubt tomorrow, once I've had time to rationalise, I'll be able to see that things weren't as bad as they were. That's not quite true. I'm now reasonably happy that under 5 hours isn't a bad marathon time for somebody in their 60s. Am I aiming too high for 4 hours? I don't think I am, but that's doing really well for somebody in their 60s. So there has to be some kind of a balance somewhere. So I've just seen a friend running past. So exactly where am I? So I think there's 2 things I want to say. First thing is, why do I now think that I was so devastated with the outcome of Stirling. Yes, I still think I'm quite ashamed of myself for letting myself down. I gave in. I know that I'm not mentally strong, but because I know that, I should be prepared for it. I should be prepared for the point where I give up, and I should just get on with the job and keep going. So, I'm not ashamed to have been ashamed. Disappointed, yes. But I think there's something else that was going on behind the scenes, and that was I went to Brighton aiming for 4 hours 20 or 25, so that I would be in with a shout of doing 4 hours 15 at Stirling. 4 hours 15 at Stirling meant that I would be in a good position to make my eventual target of 4 hours in Amsterdam in October. I lost Brighton because of the heat, and because I gave up at the end of Stirling, I effectively gave up any hope of breaking 4 hours in Amsterdam. So I had lost Brighton, I had given up on Stirling and lost that, and I effectively already lost Amsterdam. And I think that was a lot of what was going on in my subconscious by the time I got to the end of Stirling. Okay, so that's all the wash-up done. Quite happy with my preparation, quite happy with the actual marathon course itself, just disappointed that I wasn't mentally strong enough to keep going when I felt that I needed to stop. So, what can we do to keep going? I did say twice, I think this is going to be my last marathon. I can't do this. This is going to be my last marathon. It's not. I'm going to keep going. I've been encouraged by what my colleagues have said, and I've had a lot of support. So I will keep going, and I'm going to go to Amsterdam, and I'm going to do the best that I can. I'm no longer saying that I'm going to break 4 hours. What I'm going to do is say I'm going to do the best that I can. I did that last year and set my best time ever, 4 hours 35. So let's just forget about targets. I'm going to do the best that I can. Second thing I want to do is to revise the training schedule. Training program that I've done is the Bupa Intermediate program, and it's a fantastic program. It totally changed my approach to preparing for marathons, and it was that got me my 4 hours 35. However, I've come to the conclusion that the training programs, all of the training programs, you would find if you look at them, they take you up to a maximum of about 20 miles. And the theory is your received wisdom. Everybody knows it. If you can run 20 miles, then you can finish a marathon. But that's the point. It's not saying if you follow this program, you'll be able to run a marathon in such a time. What it's saying is if you can follow this program and you'll do your 20-mile run in week 14 or 15 out of 18, you will be able to finish a marathon. You'll be able to finish a marathon. And I've finished 5 marathons. That's fantastic, but I've never once been able to run the whole way. If I look at my time at the 20-mile mark, it tends to be quite respectable. And it's the last 6 miles that, like most people, that I lose the time. That's where it all goes wrong, is the last 6 miles. So I've come to the conclusion that where the training programs fall down is in that they're not appropriate for somebody that wants to run non-stop for 26 miles, 42.2 kilometres. They're there for somebody that wants to get to the end of the marathon. Now, I am a UK athletics qualified coach, and I've been coaching myself, working with the training programme. And people say that's not a good idea, and to an extent I agree, because you're not seeing things objectively. Somebody from outside can look at what you're doing and show where you're going wrong. On the other hand, when you're self-coaching, you can see things from the inside. You can see how you're feeling, and you can't fool yourself. You can tell an external coach all the lies you like, but you can't lie to yourself. So I'm going to continue self-coaching, but I'm going to change. One of the big things that you'll learn as a coach is that the work that you do in preparing for any event has to be specific to the event that you want to do. So if I want to run 100 meters in 10 seconds flat, I have to run 100 meters over and over and over again, and gradually the body will adapt to that 100 meters and your time will come down. I would never get down to 10 seconds flat because I'm too old. And I don't want to do it anyway. But I do want to run 26.2 miles, and I can do that. I know that that's achievable. Okay, the time is something else. Actually running is something that's still achievable. So what I need to do is not forget totally about the training programs, but change the way that I'm working with the training program. The training program has shorter runs during the week and a long run at the weekend, but that long run only takes you up to 20 miles, doesn't take you beyond that. So I've managed to get up to that 20-mile mark for training for Brighton and training for Stirling. What I need to do now is adhere to the first rule of coaching, which is that the work you do has to be specific to the event you want to compete in. In other words, I want to run in a marathon. That means my training has to be specific to running a marathon, not to completing a marathon, not to running 20 miles and letting the last 6 miles take care of themselves. It has to be specific to running a marathon, running 26 miles non-stop. So between now and Amsterdam I have round about 20 weeks. 20 weeks left in which I will no longer aim to run the marathon in 4 hours. Instead, my goal is simply going to be run the marathon. Start at the start line and run without stopping at whatever pace, to run without stopping until I get to the finish line. That is my objective. To do that, I'm going to do training that is specific to that, which is to run more marathons, just to get used to running marathons. Run, I don't know how many marathons. I'm going to not put a number on it, but if you were to ask me now, maybe somewhere over the next 20 weeks, run maybe something like 8 marathons. So the plan would be to take a step back to recover from Stirling, run a half marathon, then leave a couple of weeks, then run maybe a full marathon, leave another couple of weeks, go back to running a half marathon, then 2 weeks later marathon, and from then on every 2 weeks run a marathon. Still in the midweek do the shorter runs that the training program suggests, so sticking to that training program, but at the weekend the long runs are no longer short long runs, they are running marathons. That will be specific to the task of running a full marathon. It will let my body adapt to running the full 26.2 miles. It will in some ways let me experiment with different paces. It will let me experiment with different nutrition plans, different hydration plans. It will give me a whole load of different experiences and be able to work in different ways and find out exactly what works. So the experimentation is a secondary thing. I know that I've got enough nutrition by using gels and eating well in the run up to the marathon. I've got enough nutrition to see me through to the end of the marathon. I know my hydration plan works. That's never been a problem for me. So these are secondary considerations. The main thing is run marathons, run marathons, run marathons. Get the body used to doing it and let it adapt. Now, I've explained this to some of my colleagues and they've said, no Malcolm, that's totally the wrong approach. You're going to get more injuries by doing that. You're going to get totally fatigued You'll be worn out, you'll be too tired, and you just won't be able to do it. Maybe there's some truth in that. I think there is some truth in that. But on the other hand, I keep going back to this specificity. People who are in their prime, that run marathons, professionally, or elite runners or fast club runners, they don't just run one marathon having gone through an 18-week training program. They are doing more marathons and marathons and marathons. They do the specific training. It's the specificity. They're doing it, they're adapting to it so that they can do it. I'm not saying I can go out and run 10 marathons in 2 weeks. That's clearly wrong. But if I can adapt, I'm already completing the distance. But by doing that distance more often, then I'm pretty sure I'll be able to build up to a point where I can run non-stop for the 26.2 miles. Now, if I can do that, and I can maintain my pace of, let's say, a conservative 6 minutes a kilometre, that is 4 minutes 12. So what I'm really saying to myself is, if I do the specific training, if I run many marathons, and I can run the whole distance, the time takes care of itself. My time will automatically fall because I'm not having this collapse at the last 6 miles. Okay, so that's gone on quite a bit longer than I expected. That's about, I see about 18 minutes I've been talking, and I've gone into quite a lot of detail about this whole idea of specificity, and it'll be interesting to see if it actually works in practice. I'm going to do a lot more recording, going back to what I did in the build-up to my first marathon, which was recording all of my runs. I will record all of my runs again, and have a lot more videos up to let you see how I'm getting on and whether this idea actually does work. So that's going to be interesting as well. So 20 weeks from now, we'll be in Amsterdam and we'll find out whether it's worked. So hope you'll join me on this crazy journey that we're going to go on for the next 5 months, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, see you then.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to make sure you get notifications of all new content.